Hello and welcome back to the AA NBA podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Hammond.
And I'm Aditya.
And today, we got some news for you.
Yeah, so the first thing, I guess, to get into, the NBA is preparing to have games in the regular arenas again next season. Like, there won't be a bubble, most likely. They're not going to let fans in, but they're sending out memos and stuff for proper cleaning techniques and how to keep everyone safe. So it's looking like they'll be in regular arenas next year.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me like a couple months ago that they were going to do this, I would probably think that that's kind of dumb. But right now, like, you know, the NFL's doing it, the MLB's doing it, and it's not too bad. There are a couple, like, obviously there are a couple isolated COVID cases, and there were, I believe, 2 MLB teams that had outbreaks at the beginning of the season, but that was because I think the Cardinals had the biggest outbreak, and that's because they were, like, going to casinos and stuff. So, basically, I'm hopeful that the NBA season will be able to continue, or, you know, start and continue in arenas, and that they won't have to do another bubble. Just because, like, the traveling has been fine for the NFL and MLB. Like, you know, the only thing that's been kind of disappointing is either no fans in the MLB and for select NFL teams, or, you know, some reduced capacity fans as in the NFL.
Yeah, and kind of backpacking off that, I guess, Adam Silver said that rough estimate, obviously nothing's finalized yet, but they're looking at the season's probably not going to start until at least January, and then it might get pushed back even more. They're not super sure about any of that just yet. But I know we talked on the podcast previously about it possibly starting around Christmas time, and it's looking like it's going to get pushed back just a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm honestly okay with that, just because, like, as much as I enjoy NBA Christmas, I always do feel kind of guilty. So that's kind of nice. And then, you know, just the fact that we're going to be getting an NBA season is cool. I am a little bit skeptical of, like, how they're just going to continue the NBA. Not whether or not they're going to. We know they're going to. They're making a shit ton of money. Whatever. It's not going to shut down. But, like, if they keep pushing the schedule back, like, is this just going to be, are they just going to be playing basketball into August every year since they're never going to, or are they just eventually going to just say fuck it and have, like, a 2-month off season? Like, I don't know.
I think
they're not doing that this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They might just go the route where they have, like, either a really short or a really long off season, but I think, if I remember correctly, they were talking about potentially permanently moving it so that they don't have to worry too much about football interfering. And, you know, they would, I mean, the first few weeks would obviously be kind of rough because the football playoffs and stuff. But other than that, like, baseball wouldn't be a concern because that would be more towards the fall.
Baseball's not really a concern that much until October.
Right.
Anyway.
So it wouldn't be a concern until, like, late in the fall. And then at that point, their only competition is the WNBA, which isn't much of a competition anyway.
Yeah, which kind of, so are you saying they start in February, or, like, they start in December or January and then only have to deal with a couple months in the NFL?
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're planning on doing. I thought, like, because I think we talked about this before too, but they were considering just permanently moving the season to start around, like, the end of December or, like, January-ish, and then have it go into, like, July and August.
Okay.
I don't know. This is all speculation, but
I would be fine. I actually would like that more, probably. Plus, it would be just a little less confusing with the. I always hate it when sports seasons go, like, the blank slot, like the 2021-22 sports season or whatever. Like, that's what I like about baseball is, like, it's from, you know, March to October, sometimes early November. And it's just like the blank season, like the 2020 season or 2021 season. There's no like 2021/2022. It's not that big of a deal, but just like aesthetically, it's a little nicer for it to just be like 1 year,
Right.
you know?
I don't know. You got anything else to add about this?
No, not really. I mean, we've talked about the NBA's potential schedule change or permanent schedule change for a while now.
Yeah.
I think we've
All right, next up,
given our thoughts about
some
it.
coaching news. Billy Donovan
Okay.
has been hired as the next head coach for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, shit. I mean, Bulls got a good one.
Yeah.
So you're the resident Bulls guy here. So I'm gonna let you take this one. I want to hear what you think about it because honestly, like, I don't really have much of an opinion on
All
this.
right. I think I can speak for most Bulls fans when I say Kenny Atkinson was like the primary go-to coach that we wanted. But I'm not upset with Billy Donovan either. He's a coach that's made it to the playoffs the last, however many years. And, like, he's had really good players on all those teams, but I think he is still a pretty good coach. I was expecting him, honestly, to want to go to a contending team because he did leave Oklahoma City, So I thought he'd maybe go to a team that was actually contending for a championship. But at the same time...
Or at least had the pieces in place to
Right, yeah. But at the same time,
like New Orleans.
Our last head coaches have been Fred Hoiberg and then Jim Boylan, so anything...
Dude, don't forget about Tibbs.
Oh, yeah, and Tibbs. Well, Tibbs actually had some success. I mean, that Bulls team was pretty good. For a little bit, anyway.
Yeah, the last couple years of Tibbs, though.
Well, yeah. But we had... I mean, there's a season that...
I'll say second half of Tibbs. First half of Tibbs was really good.
That's fair. But, I mean, I'm excited. I think with all the change in the front office, I'm hoping that, I actually have trust in the front office now because they seem to know what they're doing, and it's no longer a complete dumpster fire across the entire organization. So there's definite promise, and I am actually excited.
Yeah, honestly, so this brings the total tally of good NBA coaches in the Central Division up to 2, because Nate McMillan left, so that brought it down to 1 because of just Budenholzer. So now it's up to 2 again. With
I think
Donovan.
Dwayne Casey's not a bad coach.
They're not Central; they're Atlantic.
The Pistons?
Oh wait, the Pistons. Oh no, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it brings it up to 3.
And then hopefully 4 with the Pacers head coaching hire, which they've interviewed, 20-some coaches? That's what the report said?
Yeah, so do you want to talk about that next?
Yeah, sure. Might as well.
They interviewed over 20 coaches, including Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
Who was, obviously I'm not in the front office, but Billy Donovan was pretty high on my list of coaches that I wanted. Honestly, I guess going back to Billy Donovan a little bit, obviously from a Bulls fan perspective, I don't really, care about this. But from a fan of a team in the same conference, this is a little bit intimidating. Like, the Central Division benefits, or the Pacers have benefited from getting to play shitty teams a lot in the last couple of years. Like, the Cavs, the Pistons, even though we kind of get whooped by the Pistons. But the Cavs, the Pistons, the Bulls... And now, actually having a coach that's decent in the division, or another coach that's decent in the division, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah,
to say the least.
One thing I saw in a King of the Fourth, or it was on King of the Fourth Quarter's second channel or something, where he was talking about the hire, and he talked about how Billy Donovan sort of maximized Danilo Gallinari, and how he could possibly do the same for Lauri. And dude, I'm kind of hyped. Not even gonna lie.
You think that Lowry's the next Dirk or something?
No, but he'll. Boylan kind of turned him into bad. Boylan had him essentially.
It did turn him into bad.
Yeah, I mean his
shoot.
Yeah, he was a shooter, and then when Laurie was like, "Yo, I want more touches," he essentially just said, "Get more rebounds, and you can get more touches," which is not something you say to.
That's an all-time
it's so
bad
dumb.
coach move.
But hopefully Laurie, because like his rookie year he looked pretty good, and then sophomore year he got hurt.
Well, he got hurt a lot. I can't really blame him for his second year in the league. And he was good when he was on the court.
Yeah, he just got hurt, and then last year he just looked bad.
Yeah, that's fair. So Pacers head coaching search. That probably means that they've interviewed for sure Chauncey Billups, for sure Mike D'Antoni, for sure Becky Hammond, for sure Dave Yeager, probably David Fizdale. Definitely
probably Alvin Gentry, I would assume. Kenny Atkinson.
Alvin Gentry, I would guess. Kenny Atkinson, I would guess.
And I'm sure they're interviewing like assistants from other teams too. Like it's not just.
And for sure Billy Donovan, I would guess. But like, what's like, if you could guess, what do you think is like one person that the Pacers have interviewed that just nobody would expect? Like, maybe not even an assistant coach, like Paul Pierce or something insane like that.
I don't know who all's on the coaching market. That's the problem. Like I can't.
Well, I mean, anybody can be on the coaching market. Like, I didn't know Steve Nash was on the coaching market.
Well, I don't think he was. I think the Nets
the
just like hit him up and was like, "Yo, you want to coach?" And he was like, "I'm down." Like that's probably what ended up happening, honestly, because I don't think there's anything about him being on the coaching market.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, who do you think is like that person for the Pacers? Like just a random guess, like maybe a guy who you think, like as a player, maybe could have gotten into coaching.
Do you think they asked Reggie Miller if he wanted to be a coach?
Yes, I actually do. I think that I don't think they asked him if he wanted to be a coach, but I think they did ask him if he wanted to do interviews.
Yeah. That'd be.
That was one I was kind of thinking about. I saw like a article from, I think it was 8.9 which is a Pacers blog, about like 3 surprise head coaches, and it was like 2 and then it was Reggie Miller. Mm-hmm. And that was the one that really stuck out to me because I was like, that would fit the narrative of like, legends coming back to coach their former team. It's happened a couple times before.
Yeah.
I can't think of the last time it happened. Didn't Patrick? No, he didn't. But didn't...
Wait, who?
Yeah. I was going to say, didn't Patrick Ewing coach the Knicks for like a couple, like maybe like half a season?
I think he went right to Georgetown.
Or maybe he was an assistant.
I don't know. Maybe.
But regardless, it has happened before. Oh, Casey Jones. Casey Jones did it in like the
Tim
70s
Duncan's
80s,
doing
maybe?
it.
Yeah, Tim Duncan's doing it. He's probably the most recent.
You think the Pacers...
Kevin Garnett was basically a coach that one year with the Timberwolves. Like, he was still playing, but, for the most part, he was...
Who was the Timberwolves coach before Ryan Saunders?
Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, yeah. Who was the coach before Tibbs? Because he was pretty recent, too.
I think Flip, actually. I think Flip Saunders retired in, like, 2015, maybe?
I gotta look this up.
Actually, but that...
They had Flip...
was Tibbs in Minnesota for 3 years?
2.5.
Oh, no. Flip died in 2015.
Yeah, so they had Rick Adelman and Kurt Rambis. And they also had Kevin McHale, Randy Whitman, whoever that is. They did have Flip Saunders for a while. They had Dwayne Casey for 1.5 years. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. How about Pacers should just bring in Don Nelson. He's 80 years old. He's a legendary head coach. Just give him a couple games and just see, or give him a couple seasons. Hell.
You think the Pacers interviewed Mark Jackson?
I don't know if Mark Jackson... I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on whether or not Mark Jackson even wants to coach, because I don't really know if he does. He's kind of one of those guys that I'm just not really sure about. Like, he seems like he kind of wants to coach, but he also seems like he's really into broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't know.
So honestly, like, that could go either way for me.
They might have given him an interview. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right, what do we have next?
Oh, yeah, next up. So, we talked about the Pacers and the Bulls. The 76ers want Mike D'Antoni to come to Philly to coach, and they're hoping that they can use that to convince James Harden to come to Philly. For whatever reason.
That's a bold strat.
Not only is it bold,
also,
but it's
like,
a bad idea.
Hold on. Okay, you fill in for a sec, or you give your opinion for a second, because I want to look something up real quick.
All right. But yeah, so first of all, Mike D'Antoni coaching, first of all, having an all-NBA caliber big man is something that he's never done before. Coaching Ben Simmons would be a bad idea because Mike D'Antoni really is just a shoot threes kind of guy. So having Ben Simmons and Joelle Embiid doesn't exactly fit his style of play. And then also James Harden, I mean, obviously he's really good, but I think he's got 2 years left on his contract, right?
Well, okay, so that's what I wanted to look up. So next, he's signed through at least the 2022 season, and he has a player option for the 2023 season.
So 2023.
So he could be a free agent as soon as 2022.
Well, probably.
Assuming he opts out.
If he opts out, you're getting, 33-year-old James Harden to run your franchise when you have Embiid and Simmons?
Yeah, I don't really know what, like, why would they want that?
I don't know.
I don't really, like,
It's Elton Brand, that's why. He sees a popular name, he's like, I gotta have him on my... I mean, he signed Al Horford to a max. I don't think he cares about age.
That's true, but, like, James Harden has probably got room left in the tank for one more, like, huge contract, and I think that huge contract is going to be a bad contract for whatever team signs him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get one more really big one the next time he's an unrestricted free agent, whether or not it's 2022 or 2023. But I think he's going to get one more really big one. And
well, the problem is with James Harden is as soon as he's not basically playing like 40 minutes a game, and he goes down to, like, once he gets older and stuff and takes a smaller role at like 30, probably around like 33 or 34, and he goes down to like 30 minutes a game or 28 minutes a game or whatever, all that weight is just going to come crashing in because he basically stays in shape by playing basketball. I mean,
I mean, shit, dude. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know why. And Mike D'Antoni and James Harden, like, just lost in the playoffs together. Like, so Mike D'Antoni's gone. So I'm not assuming anything. Mike D'Antoni is gone. Their last memory of each other is getting dogged by the Lakers and not really trying in Game 5. I don't know why that's gonna make them want to get back together. I just don't know.
Yeah. It's Elton Brand, so I can't say I'm surprised or anything. It's very
I can't
dumb.
either. But it's a weird strat.
Yeah. I don't think weird is the right word. I think the word we're looking for is bad.
No, but it is bizarre. Like, a guy who's guaranteed $47 million if he opts in, you're relying on that guy to opt out. And then you're like, hey, so I know that we've already got, what, 4 contracts over $100 million in total.
Well, by
on the books right now,
2023, they'd be out
one
of most of it, right? The Horford contract would be gone by then?
Just the Horford one.
Oh, really?
Just the Horford one. Ben Simmons kicks in.
I know Simmons
this
kicks
season,
in.
I think.
Embiid, they'd probably sign back. I think he's done in 22.
Let me look at that. I think you're right.
I mean,
he's not a free agent until 2023.
Okay, so they'd essentially be choosing 33-year-old James Harden over 28-year-old Embiid.
Yeah, basically. Like, you're gonna have that would be a fourth $100 million contract on the board.
Yeah.
If James Harden opts out in 2022 and goes to sign with the Sixers.
It's just very dumb.
What is that? That's going to put you in cap hell. You're probably going to be paying more in the luxury tax than you are in base salary. Like, what the fuck is the plan there?
I don't know. Again, I can't say I'm surprised, but it's just so bad. Like,
I just want to make it clear that I know very little about the luxury tax rates, so that could be completely wrong. I was joking.
I don't know. Maybe it actually no. I'm not even gonna say maybe it works out because it's 100% guaranteed is not gonna work out. But
it would be basically like just an older Jimmy Butler that can't really play defense because James Harden, even though he has gotten significantly better on the defensive end, I'm not relying on 33, 34-year-old James Harden to guard the other team's best, guard.
I'm assuming they still have Ben Simmons to do that.
Well, they probably would, but, so I guess the second best guard or small forward. I'm not relying on James Harden for that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
They need to Elton Brand needs to, instead of just doing 2K21 to build his team, he needs to actually use his brain and be like, yo, this team needs shooters because we have Embiid and Simmons, so let me go get some shooters.
How about we sign JJ Redick when he's a free agent in 2021? That's I know, crazy, but because you didn't re-sign him in 2019.
Yeah.
But
how
about you?
We talked about this before, but I remember JJ Redick was talking about how, because you know how during free agency, the first few days is teams get the chance to re-sign their players or whatever. So then JJ Redick was talking about how he went into his meeting with the front office with Elton Brand and stuff, talking about his future if he was going to re-sign, and he literally said that when he left the meeting, the general consensus between him and the front office was they'd make JJ Redick an offer if they couldn't get anybody else. And it's you can't do that. He was probably your most valuable player last season besides Jimmy Butler, and
right, I disagree on that. He was your most valuable shooter, but
that shooting was valuable though.
It was, but he's not more valuable than Joelle Embiid or Ben Simmons. For that.
When both of them were on the court together, he averaged 16 points per game off basically just shooting threes.
Well, no, but so does Duncan Robinson. But I wouldn't say Duncan Robinson is the Heat's MVP.
Well, because the Heat have other shooters. They're not essentially a post team.
Well, the Sixers had Shamet.
Yeah, and then they traded him away too.
Yeah, I think that's bizarre to say. JJ Redick was their most valuable
Second most valuable player.
Second most valuable player. Joelle Embiid is on that team.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, Joelle Embiid was bad.
Ben Simmons.
And he couldn't stay healthy.
The whole 76ers were bad.
Not JJ Redick and Jimmy Butler.
Was bad for stretches of the playoffs.
I disagree.
But yeah, they need to sign more shooters. They don't need another ridiculous contract for an old player. They need shooters.
They should just bring Allen Iverson back for a max contract at this point.
Yeah, just bring Allen Iverson. Just throw out Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson would probably play for $70,000 in a Jersey Mike's gift card. I don't think Allen Iverson has any money that he wants to play. I don't think Allen Iverson would personally benefit from playing for anything other than pride at this point. He's got his money. Significantly less of it, but he has money. I don't think he really gives that much of a shit anymore about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. All right. That's it about Philly. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Cool. So next up, the Houston Rockets are strongly considering signing Tyronn Lue to be their next head coach. Thoughts?
If there's one thing I know that team featuring Russell Westbrook and James Harden, coached by Tyronn Lue, is a team that I want to watch. That's a team that I want to see in crunch time. Just play some basketball. I just want to see what exactly Tyronn Lue draws up for those specific players.
Yeah, he's not a good coach.
You know, I've been saying this since the Lakers lost. The Rockets lost. I truly think that their issue this year was not D'Antoni, it was not Harden, and for the most part, it was not Westbrook. It was their complete lack of a pure center. Like, they need somebody over 6'8". They just do. And I think that if they had re-signed D'Antoni and gotten, even a couple decent centers, they could run it back next year and maybe have different results. And then if it's still the same thing, which it might be, then you blow it up. I think they blew it up a little too early. I mean, they didn't really blow it up, but I think Mike D'Antoni left a little hastily, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, with that being said, what is Tyronn Lue giving you? What is he giving you? That, a guy
Again,
Tim Duncan or, I don't know,
I still stand by the statement. Any coach not named Eric Spoelstra that has coached LeBron James is probably not a very good coach. Because if you remember,
I would agree
LeBron
with that.
James wanted Spoelstra gone, but Pat Riley said no. LeBron likes coaches that he can tell what to do. He got Tyronn Lue because he could tell Tyronn Lue what to do. Give me the ball and let me do my thing. You just don't interfere, right?
Yeah. So you see, Tyronn Lue, I read a book about LeBron's whole journey back to Cleveland in 2014, and then the subsequent championship in 2016, and it talks about Tyronn Lue's coaching during the 2016 finals, and Tyronn Lue did a great job with coaching during the 2016 finals. He drew up some great plays. He had some great motivation shit for them. I'm not discrediting his 2016 finals because that's one of the better finals coaching performances maybe ever. However, there are a lot of players in the history of sports that have had one really good playoff series and then they keep getting opportunities because it's what if we get that guy back?
Yeah.
You're not getting 2016 Tyronn Lue if you hire Tyronn Lue. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about the matter.
Yeah, I think he can still be a good assistant, but in terms of being your head coach, I feel like this can only go poorly.
Yeah. And really, it only didn't go poorly because he had LeBron James.
Yeah.
He had a guy that could take over games if he really wanted to and, win every game if, he's really, he can win every game.
Yeah, and again, I don't think, I just don't know how this would work because managing Russ and Harden would be very tough in terms of egos, right? Because they're both pretty ball dominant. Obviously, they've managed to work it out through the regular season, but then we saw when it came to the playoffs, everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
I don't know how he would go about doing that, especially when in Cleveland, Kevin Love was more than willing to take the third option. He didn't, he was willing to make the sacrifices, and then Kyrie Irving, they couldn't get him to get along with other, he straight up wouldn't talk to anybody, and Tyronn Lue couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how they would go about doing that, but.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Do we have anything else before the playoffs?
Well, the only other thing we really have, the previous New Orleans general manager Dell Demps is now the Jazz assistant head coach.
Yeah.
That's about it. I mean, that's pretty small. I don't think he's going to change anything, but.
Dude, I don't know.
Playoff.
The Dell effect.
Playoff recap. Let's go.
All right, so do you want to start out with the Heat Celtics series?
Yeah, sure.
Or the Lakers Nuggets series?
Let's do Lakers Nuggets first, actually. So,
Okay.
the Nuggets are officially down 3-1. So, kind of over for the Lakers, unfortunately. Sorry, LeBron.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Hot take. I'm feeling a Lakers closeout game tonight.
oh yeah, they play tonight, don't
We're
they?
recording this on Saturday the 26th. I'm feeling a Lakers closeout. And we should note the Lakers are pulling the Lakers. They contacted the NBA before Game 4 to say that the 100 fouls getting called against players defending LeBron wasn't enough. They need more.
Mm-hmm.
So, in Game 4, which, to an extent, both teams deserve to win. The Lakers shot 12 more free throws. Anthony Davis and LeBron got 14 each. The Lakers shot a total of 35. Only 7 of them taken by players not named LeBron James or Anthony Davis. The Nuggets got 23.
Yeah, so LeBron and AD got more free throws than the Nuggets. And there was a lot of clips going around on Instagram. There was that one of Jamal Murray driving in, and then LeBron just kind of rolling over him, and then they didn't call anything.
Just fouling him.
And that happened multiple times. But according to Lakers fans, it was a clean block. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to... I get not calling stuff like that, even though I think that was a blatant foul. But if you're going to do that, you can't call them on the other end. Like, when Anthony Davis takes a jump shot and Paul Millsap has a nice closeout, and then Anthony Davis comes down and rolls his ankle, and Paul Millsap doesn't touch him, that's not a fucking foul.
Well, it is because it's the Lakers, Aiden. You seem to be forgetting.
I guess that's true, but like I'm kind of tired of this shit. Like if you're gonna do that, just give them the championship now. Like if you're gonna call these sorts of fouls on them.
The problem too with this is it's not like they have fans rolling into Staples Centers for the final anyway. Like there's not like viewership. Like the people that were gonna watch the finals were gonna watch it anyway. There's no incentive
to give the Lakers
there's
the
no
championship this year.
in most years you could be like, yeah, Staples Center will be packed, they always make a lot of money, viewer ratings will go up because people want to watch the Lakers and stuff, but there's no fans. The people that are going to watch the finals are going to watch it regardless of who's in there. You're not going to have outside people coming in to watch the Lakers play in the bubble because it doesn't have the glamour of the NBA finals anymore. And it's not like the Super Bowl where you have the entire country watching it. It's the finals aren't like that. So
Yeah. I'm not really one of those people that thinks the NBA legitimately rigs the finals. But I do think that in order to make the best possible finals matchup, the NBA does give some constructive hints to the referees.
Well, it's not
to
even
maybe
that. Like,
persuade them to make some nice calls in the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals.
What's his name? The one, Tim Donaghy, was he the ref that... Yeah, he did an interview. I forget who it was with. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube real quick. It was on Pardon My Take, and that's it. And he essentially said like before like finals games and playoff games, the NBA would sit all the refs down in the room and be like telling them essentially call more fouls for this team. So then he'd know which team the refs are going to call more fouls for. He knew which team was going to win, and he could put his bets like that. So it is exactly like that. It might not be now, obviously, but it was, 10, 15 years ago. The NBA was just, hey, we need the Lakers to win. Call more fouls for them. And then that was that.
Yeah, but I think that was in more the conference finals.
This is the conference
NBA
finals.
was really like that. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the NBA rigs the finals. I think that they do constructively... I don't want to say rig because that makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I do think that they impact the conference finals, and I think that's what we're seeing here. It's why the Lakers have 2 rings because of it. 2001, they got like 400. I think there's like a crazy stat that they had like 25 free throws in the fourth quarter, and Portland had like 6 or something.
Was the Kings 2000? Was it 4?
That was 2002. And then the next year in 2002, when the Kings were about to close out in Game 6, and the NBA just decided to give the game to the Lakers.
Yeah.
I think there is more than enough evidence to say that the NBA has a direct bias towards the Lakers. And I get it. Like, a Kings-Nets finals in 2002 is not going to be watched by anybody. But, like, who gives it? Like, best team wins.
Yeah.
If the NBA wants to be the WWE, that's fine. But admit that you're doing it. Like, don't act like it's not sort of scripted.
Yeah. Dude, what I don't understand, if they're doing it for the Lakers, why don't they do it for the Knicks, man? Get the Knicks to the finals.
Because I don't think it's realistic with the Knicks. I think that with the Lakers, there's always enough reason to justify that the Lakers should be in the finals because they're always good.
With enough help from the refs, the Knicks could still go like 40-42. And in the East, that can make the playoffs.
It could, dude. It could. I think it's more likely the NBA does it for the Nets, though.
Probably, yeah. Or really any other team.
And I think my favorite thing is Lakers fans and, LeBron fans specifically acting like LeBron has just never gotten calls in his career. like people are like, oh, yeah, LeBron finally starts getting calls in year 17, and suddenly everybody's all up in arms about it. Like,
yeah.
LeBron hasn't been getting consistent calls since, his second, third year in the league.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, just going off what you said, it's people, I saw a lot of comments complaining about how in games 2 and 3, the refs were super biased towards the Nuggets, and the Lakers still persevered. And now that the Lakers are getting calls, people are angry about it because people hate the Lakers. And it was like, dude, come on.
I saw a stat that, there have been each team has taken 113 free throws. The difference is there's not a differential of the Nuggets don't really have a game where they've shot 15 more free throws than the Lakers. The Lakers have that. The differential is the Lakers shooting more free throws. The Lakers shooting so many free throws in game 4, and then the Nuggets shooting barely more free throws in games
4 or
1 through
5.
3. Yeah, the Nuggets are not. The Nuggets are. It's not getting rigged for the Nuggets, guys. I hate to tell you this, but of course the NBA is not gonna tell the refs to call a shit ton of fouls in games 1 through 3. They're gonna do it in games 4 through 7 because those are the most meaningful.
Yeah. I still got Nuggets in 7 because they're down 3-1. So.
Yeah. No, I do too. All right, you ready to talk about Heat Celtics?
Sadly. So, games 1 and 2, super great. And I was like, Heat got this in the bag. 4, maybe 5. Then the Celtics win game 3. It was like, no worries, it happens. They dropped the game to the Bucks. No big deal or anything. And then game 4, Tyler Herro comes out. He is insane. 37 points. The memes are amazing. And I'm like, all right.
The memes were really good.
He got this. And then in the first half of game, 5? Yeah, in the first half of game 5, I checked in the first quarter and the Heat were up by 12. And I was like, oh, it's over. Whatever. Then I checked in at halftime and the Heat were up by 7. And I was like, yeah. They got this in the bag. Don't even have to worry. And then I checked the game at the end of the fourth quarter, and they lost by 13. So, very disappointing.
Yeah, I had to get up really early this morning. You're going to see a trend with that for these Friday night games. I usually don't watch them because I have to get up early for work on Saturdays, but it seemed like Jaylen Brown was balling.
Jason Tatum was also balling.
Jason Tatum was also balling. Kemba Walker was not balling, judging by his Twitter trend. Daniel Tice was not really balling.
Daniel Tice actually had a pretty good game.
Well, in the first half, he was not. I think he got, I think Bam was scoring on him or something.
I don't know. I thought he had a pretty solid game, actually. But I don't know. I know for sure. So one of two things is going to happen, right? They're either, after this game, they either went into the locker room, all sat in silence, and Eric Spoelstra stared daggers into them, or Pat Riley came into the locker room throwing trash cans everywhere. One of those two things probably happened.
Yep. If the Heat blow this series,
I'm not going to be too upset. I mean, coming into the series, I predicted the Celtics would win in 7. And then after game 1 and 2, I was like, the Heat are about to sweep. But
I predicted either Heat in 4 or Celtics in 7. So for my take, I hope the Celtics pull this out because that would be accurate for me. But like for an actual good NBA Finals, I hope it's the Heat.
I want it to be the Heat, but I feel like the NBA wants. Like, I don't think the NBA is rigging this series by any means because I don't think reffing has been super. Like, it hasn't been like Lakers Nuggets, right?
It hasn't been. The NBA doesn't really do that.
This series hasn't been bad. This series hasn't been that bad. I've actually liked it, but I feel like if it comes down to it, they might nudge a call to the Celtics because they want Lakers-Celtics in the finals. And if not, the general population, for the most part, probably wants Lakers-Celtics in the finals.
I think the most popular series would be Lakers-Celtics, but I think the second most would be Lakers-Heat. And I don't think
because having the Nuggets in the finals is instantly going to be at the bottom of the popularity list.
Yeah, but I don't think the Heat are that much less of a popular team.
It's more the history of it. All right, like.
Yeah, it's like Chapter 4 or whatever, and or Lakers versus Celtics versus Chapter 1 and Lakers.
Yeah,
Heat. I get it.
I mean, either way, it'll be a good series. I think, Jimmy Butler versus LeBron would be pretty crazy. And then Bam versus AD. Oh.
Dude, Tyler Herro versus Alex Caruso. King of the White Boys. The battle for the King of the White Boys.
Dude, Tyler Herro's, like, have you seen Twitter, bro? Tyler Herro's black. I mean, come on.
All right, is that all we got?
I think so. One last thing I wanted to add. Congratulations to Joelle Embiid. He has a kid. Pretty epic.
Pretty epic. Proof of sex. That's always good.
Well, yeah.
That's what people have babies for, dude.
Yep. That's definitely why. But no, congratulations to him and his girlfriend. I don't know if they're married. I don't think they are. But
if they're not, they're living in sin.
But yeah, I think he'll be a good dad. I feel like he'd be the dad that plays video games with his son.
Yeah.
But
I think Joel Embiid's just a nice dude. I think he'll be a good dad.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the podcast, and subscribe to our personal channels. Aiden uploads every Monday, and I have a video coming out probably today or tomorrow. So there you go.
Is it another Stream Clips one?
Yeah, basically. It's for golf though. So
Poggy. Hey.
So yeah, we got that. Our Twitter's in the description. The podcast email's in the description. Yeah. NBA hit us up for a sponsorship. We wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we'll do a sponsorship for NBA TV if you want, or you could just give us like a show on NBA TV. That would be cool too. If you want.
we could go on live TV.
Yeah, facts.
Easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.